C6 vet cost to prep and paint, same color. So if you're doing a same color base coat, clear coat, I mean, materials are up 100% since 7 years ago, give or take 6-7 years ago. Materials are up. Labor went up a little bit, not too much, but most of it is going to depend on the quality of paint job. So how confident are you in delivering a quality paint job, and how picky is your customer going to be? What is the customer looking for? Is the customer looking for a okay paint job? Are they looking for color sanding and buff as a finish? Basically you paint it and then you color sand and buff. There's a bunch of different levels to a paint job. Hey, stop. So if it's going to depend on your experience. So for me, like, I won't touch a paint job, if it's under 5 G's. Like, I won't even do it. Like $5,000, I'll do a nice paint job on a small Honda or something. But anything more than that, bigger car, like this classic here, Chevelle, like if I were to repaint this thing here, complete paint, you're looking at $15,000 to do a really good job on it. That's materials included, and that's a good deal. The Tesla that I'm about to do, if I were to do that for a customer, $8,000, no less than 8,000, plus material. So you're looking at, probably $9,500. And I'm on the high side, so if you're going to be doing this for a customer, I would say $5,000 for base coat, clear coat is average. If you're doing it for $3,000, $3,500, or $4,000 and under, I would say that is more of a cheaper paint job. Maybe you're giving the guy a really good deal, but you're delivering really good results. Because you got to figure materials are going to cost you $1,000, give or take. Sandpapers, paints, primers, give or take. It could be $600. But if you're using top of the line clear coats, it could be a little bit higher, depending. So anywhere from $600 to $1,200 for materials. Okay. Again, there's many grades of materials that you could be using. And then your labor of the full paint job. If you're doing door jambs, you're going to add on, you might add on another $500 to $1,500. It depends on the level of paint job. If you're doing body only, you could be anywhere from $3,000 to, $7,500 for a complete paint job. Single stage is a lot cheaper because you basically only got 2 coats. Your prep doesn't have to be as meticulous because single stage paint hides a lot of sand scratches. So if you just lay that sucker on thick, it's going to look really good. You don't have to, it's more of a fast type of paint job, single stage. Lays on really nice, and I did that to the Good Van project back there. I don't know if you see it. Let me see. Gallons of paint for a 93 Chevy Astro van. Okay, so again, are you going to be shooting single stage enamel, or are you going to be shooting base coat, clear coat? Okay, because it depends. Astro van, a 1 gallon kit of single stage will get the job done, no problem. Astro van is not a huge van. Okay. Plus you got a lot of windows around the side, unless it's a cargo van, but still you'll be able to do it with a 1 gallon kit. Because once you mix up your paint, you're going to get about 1.5 gallons of sprayable material, maybe a little bit more depending on what kit you got. Okay. If you're going to be doing base coat, clear coat, same color, you're probably going to need, depending on the condition of the paint. Again, it all depends. If the paint is in really good condition and it's white and you're going to be doing white again, you only need to get 2 quarts of white, which will make you 0.5 gallon of sprayable white. And this is base coat, clear coat. Then you're going to go around the car pretty much 2 times, get it nice and white again with the new base coat. Then you're going to go around it 2 more times with clear coat. Okay. So base coat, clear coat paint jobs take double the time. Okay. At least double the time to spray a car. Single stage, you're going around the car twice and you're done. So usually 1 hour, 45 minutes to an hour, you're done painting with single stage. Okay. Yeah, hour and a half to 2 hours, base coat, clear coat, if it's a simple paint job. If you're doing two-tone outlining, if you're doing flames or whatever, you could be in there half a day, basically waiting for your base coat to dry, fine line taping the graphics, masking it up, take a couple of hours, and then doing your second or third base coat, letting that dry, and then doing clear coat. This custom paint job like that could be easy 6-7 hours, easy, depending on what you're doing, right? One of the causes is basically not letting it flash long enough. So if you basically lay a coat of clear and you spray your next coat too close, you can get solvent pop because the clear coat doesn't have a chance to flow out. All right. And the other issue could be coming from your primer underneath it, underneath your base coat. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you used a primer and your hardener in there, you didn't have enough hardener and your primer was basically still in the middle of curing, okay, a day later, because sometimes that happens. People don't, when they mix their primers, their 2K filler primers or whatever, they don't let it dry properly, okay? They sand it, it'll sand, but it's really not cured. And then you put your base coat, clear coat on top of that, and that solvent could kind of bleed through and give you a solvent pop. So those are the pretty much two main reasons. Another reason is it looks like solvent pop, but it's literally like water in your clear coat by not having a filter on your spray gun. So I like to have my overall water filter out of the compressor, anywhere from 10 to 15 feet away. Mine has a hose on it, but it's right next to my compressor. But the other important thing, okay, when painting and when setting up your spray guns is to make sure, I like to have my extra insurance. Okay. So I always run one of these water filters right before my air gets into the gun. So this is like last minute. So if you do have condensation, the water, if you don't have one of these, you're literally going to get condensation and water going into your gun in your airline and then coming out. You're going to get water literally coming out in your paint that looks like solvent pop. It's like little fine bubbles and it looks like solvent pop, but it's moisture. It's condensation, moisture coming through. And that can be kind of mixed up. Some people see it and they're like, it's solvent pop, but it's really water in it. Does that help? A hard fiberglass tonneau cover, and it needs to be repainted. There's nicks and stress cracks that I need to address. Should I just use resin or do I need to mesh that to the application? Okay, so stress cracks, depending on where they are, I don't know where they are. I don't know where you have the stress cracks, but if you can get to the back of it, I would kind of grind the back down and you can put a sheet of fiberglass and resin in there to give it some extra strength. And then on the finish side where you have your stress cracks, I would basically it depends if they're bad. If they're really bad and you got some really hardcore stress cracks in them, then you may want to get a angle grinder. Pretty sure mine's in the thing over there, but you get a little, and you put a V-notch in your stress cracks, and then you could literally just fill that up with resin, fiberglass resin. You could even use kitty hair. Do I have any right here? Here, long strand, but I would get the short strand, easier to work with. You could even use the long strand kitty hair for the backside if you don't have a regular sheet of fiberglass that you want to cut and put in there. You could just use this, okay? And I would use the short strand on the front of it, right? After your V-notch, mix up some of this. And this is just like body filler, guys. It's mixed in like a putty. This is long hair. They have this short strand as well. Easy to work with. You mix it up. You add your hardener. It's like Bondo, okay? Body filler. You put it on. You get 80 grit. You shape it. 2K filler primer, okay? Do I have any right here? I have more in my container? I don't have 2K filler primer here, do I? Yeah, well, anyway, you guys mix up some 2K filler primer, right? Spray it if there's any like you know, holes, because fiberglass tends to have some air pockets in there, right? You could just fill that with a good polyurethane putty. This is a 1K version, dolphin glaze. You can also get the 2K version, which you have to mix with a hardener. Right? Yeah, any type of 2K filler primer would work, bro. You can just get the cheap stuff. Advantage makes a good 2K filler primer. EGC, I buy it from eBay as well, makes a good 2K filler primer. This is the activator. European genuine coatings. And I do have filler primer right here. It's a 4-to-1. I bought this off of eBay. Super cheap. They just delivered it, and it fills really well. The primer gets crystallized, so the paint would not have a good grip. Your thoughts about that? I mean, what he's saying is the primer basically cures, right? So no matter what, you're going to have to sand the primer anyway. So I'm not sure what kind of thoughts you want from me on that. I mean, yeah. Fulvio, don't you have the VIP program? Aren't you a member of Learn Autobody VIP? Because, bro, like, we take you through multiple complete paint projects. You know, we walk you through everything, even fiberglass repair, everything. Have to sand the car twice. Yeah, like if you let primer sit, when you prime it again, you're going to have to sand it so you can put primer on it again. And then after that coat of primer, you're going to have to sand it again so you can paint it around the lock area. Yeah. So I get it. I get what you're doing over there. So for you, bro, I would just get some kitty hair, short strand kitty hair. Make sure you grind the back, grind the front, and then just put it in there, dude. Put it in there like body filler and then just sand it. You're good. You'll be fine. Okay, the gaps are not correct. Hold on, John. I'm restoring a 65 Chevy Malibu. I'm having issues with fenders lining up correctly. I have pictures. Okay. The gaps are not correct, and I'm not sure what to do. Do I add metal where the gap is too wide? So yeah, I mean, all old cars have spacers. So here we got, you know, my 67 Chevelle. Get out of here, buddy. Okay. And normally, like underneath here, okay, you got, you'll have like spacers that you can put in to basically bring your fender down or up. And then you'll have them under the hood up here also to basically space it out. I mean, it's just aligning it. So you got spacers. They sell like little spacers for these classic cars that you can just basically, you know, adjust it. Make sure all of your bolts are on, you know, loose where you can adjust your fender, and don't tighten everything up until you got your whole front end looking straight. So I would have your both fenders loose. You know, maybe you're just going to have everything loose. Don't tighten everything up at once, because you want to make sure when you're looking at the car, your hood gapping is even on both sides, you know, and then you slowly start tightening one side of the fender, this side of the fender. You come here and you just little by little. It's really not hard to do. Just kind of like use your brain, figure it out, buy some spacers. They sell spacers like eighth inch little shim spacers that you can get. Some of them are even thinner than that. And then eBay, check eBay. They have all that stuff for old cars. So yeah, this car is, I love this car. Anyway, after primer, but he told me that if I wait 1 month before spraying color, I have to sand again. That's what I mean. Yeah, so after you prime it, don't sand it. So you prime the car, you drive it around for a month, because that's what it seems like you want to do. You don't want to paint it right away, right? So you prime the car, you drive it around for a month, and when you're ready to paint it, you sand it and paint it. But if you're going to be letting it sit for like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 9 months, then I would definitely sand the whole thing down, re-prime the whole damn thing, make sure you're good again, right? And then let that dry and then sand it down again and then paint it. Pretty much that's the way you do it. All right, Fulvio is flaking out. Will I need to strip it down? It depends. I don't think you need to go down to bare metal, but you do need to sand all of that, um, the clear coat fade, flake off, where it's flaking off. You need to get that all the way down. Okay. You might get to metal in some areas, but once you do that, I would definitely give it a nice 1 or 2 coats of 2K filler primer, right? Prime that sucker, seal it up, and then you can block sand that, wet sand it, or you could dry sand it out, and then follow through with your paint job. Okay. If you're in that stage and you have scratches and nicks and stuff, you're going to want to use a polyurethane putty to fill that, block it out, and then you're going to want to hit those areas with primer again and sand it out. Okay. Because you never want to paint over putty. You never want to paint over raw fiberglass. You never want to paint over raw body filler. Okay. That always has to be finished with a primer before paint. Okay. Because you have a chance of bleeding through. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up, comment down below, and check the links out in the description and in the YouTube cards over here if you are a replay watcher. And I will see you next week, Tuesday, pretty much same time. Have a great week, great weekend, and I'll talk to you guys later. Aloha. Peace. Thanks, guys.